a visit from Cart Narcs. Are you tired of shopping carts flying loose around in your shopping center? There's a group of young men out of Burbank, California that want to change that scenario. They join us live to tell us how their movement is making its way across the nation. Plus, how are we doing with our lockdown? As Texas opens up, did you go out to eat? Or are you still hunkering down in place at home? Let us know what your plans were for last week and how you're doing. The sports show is coming on next week, and we are excited. Chuck Licata talks about his show, his first guest, what we can expect from the On Deck Circle. All the boys are here. We're going to have a great time. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Radio Man Cave, and you are now on the air. The views and opinions on the Air with Mike Allen show do not reflect the views and opinions of any other content on Fort Kick-Ass Productions. The following has mature content. Have fun.
Get out of the way here. That's it. Take your spot. It's right over in that direction. There's the cart corral. I'll take it over there.
And I watched. I got to watching their videos, and it was, highly entertaining. So joining us now is Agent Sebastian of Cart Narcs. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how's it going, Hank? Thanks very much for having me.
Hey, we just watched your video, one of your videos where you were enforcing, uh, somebody putting their cart back in the cart corral. We've all seen it where carts are all over the parking lot. Tell us a little bit about your program and what's going on. What motivated you to get involved in this, and kind of what was the origins of all this?
Well, yeah, I wish I had a great story like I was born in the back of a cart or some Batman style thing where some guy threw his cart into my parents or something. But no, it was just a common observation, like so many other people have had. I mean, if you search Twitter or Facebook, you'll see that people have been bitching about other people leaving their carts out for years and years and years and years. And then one day, I was talking with a friend at the office, and I said, "Hey, let's go do something about it. Let's go out there and try to get people to do the socially responsible thing, the thing that they know they should be doing. It's not a law, but it's a common courtesy." And we started doing that almost 2 years ago, and it's sort of snowballed since then.
Well, the carts that bother me the most are the ones that end up between two cars, and it's on the blind side of the driver. So when you back up, you don't realize there's a cart there until you hear it scraping down the side of your car. I've had that happen, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's all manners of ways in which people leave them out, but the ones between the cars are sort of the worst because if you go to get, even if there is a cart employee there to help retrieve it from where you left it, where you shouldn't have been, they have the hardest hell time getting out of there. Because one thing I do too is between active narkings, active encounters with people, I'll clean up the parking lot. Number one, it's something nice to do. It's keeps me busy during my downtime. And number two, it takes away one of the lazy bones' most common excuses. One of their go-to excuses is, well, look at that cart over there. Somebody else already did it. So if they don't see a bunch of carts out, that's one less thing they can sort of try to use to weasel their way out of it.
Yeah. Well, so we watched one movie where you put the cart in front of. God dang it! Hold on.
No problem.
Where you put the cart in front of somebody's vehicle to motivate them to get out and move the cart. He ended up just kind of pushing it out of the way.
Yeah, that happened a number of times. That was a technique. We're still, like I said, we've only been doing this less than 2 years, so we're still trying out new things. We're always open to suggestions all the time. And that was our idea. There was, well, they don't understand maybe that they are blocking other people's spaces and causing property damage because the cart isn't blocking their specific car.
Yeah.
So we thought maybe we could demonstrate that by, saying, hey, this is what these things can roll. And, just because you didn't leave it in front of your car, we've seen plenty of people have sent us videos, and we've seen it in person where people do that all the time. And we have had over maybe like the 6 months we were doing that, a number of people who would rather just back in or drive forward through the cart than get out and put it back where they know it belongs. Now, that being said, you probably won't see us do that again in the future. Talked to a lawyer. He said, you know what? It's probably better if it's just a legal gray area. I know it's not. I know you're not. I know the cart's on wheels and you're not technically blocking them in. They can get out and move the car just fine. They demonstrate walking to the car with it. But he said, you know what? It's probably better off. You're going to end up on the wrong side of a lawsuit at some point. So that's what we kind of went to, the bumper magnet technique, which we are currently using.
Well,
go ahead.
So you've had some pretty testy confrontations.
Oh, sure.
And I've caught a couple of them. What's the
Well, there's one answer that I didn't find out was so dangerous until afterward. That was the one pretty recently, actually, from back in March when we were outside of Dallas, Texas. And this very large gentleman got out of his SUV, and he threatened to shoot me in the head. He said he was a killer. This is over me saying, hey, you didn't put your cart back. He just put it out between two spots and left it there. And at first I thought, oh, he's just blowing smoke. He's just, blustery or whatever. Until we posted the video and people were commenting, hey, I recognize that guy. A couple of years ago, he actually did shoot somebody. So we looked it up. And yes, that man in 2018, it appears, shot a guy on a Dallas area train, like their rapid transit system, for what he claimed at the time was that the guy was pestering people. And, he claimed to the point that he needed to get out his concealed carry firearm and shoot the man. And it appears the man survived. We don't have a ton of follow-up on that. But if that happened in 2018 and he still has a concealed carry permit and the Dallas Area Rapid Transit didn't prosecute because they couldn't find any evidence that he acted maliciously or that he didn't think his life or other people's lives were in danger. But then a year and a half or 2 years later, he comes up to me and brags about being a killer and brags that he's going to shoot me in the forehead. Well, yeah, now looking back on that, holy crap, I almost, as they say, dodged a bullet. So that was, in retrospect, probably the most dangerous one. And then there are a handful of other ones where people have, and I'm sure you've seen, they've chased me around the parking lot. They've threatened to punch me, threatened to run me over. No one has actively, knock on wood, yet tried to hit me with their car. So far, that's, who knows? Hopefully that won't happen ever. We'd like to get out of this without anybody getting hurt. But yeah, the guy who literally had shot someone in public before threatening to shoot me turns out to be the most dangerous encounter.
Huh. Now you have a unique way of tagging these vehicles. What's the purpose of that, and what are you using to tag those vehicles?
So yeah, right. So we wanted to give them something kind of a way to get in contact with sort of a scarlet letter, a mark of shame, but we don't want to cause any damage to their car. Again, we don't want to do anything illegal, and we don't want anyone to get hurt. Those are, we just want to teach a common civic lesson and have hopefully decent conversations about it as we've been doing. So what we've got are these bumper sticker sized magnets, which will stick pretty much to any kind of, ferrous metal, any kind of steel on a car. And so we put those either on, a bumper or the hood or wherever we have, wherever's most convenient. And some people just drive off with them. The idea is they have a little phone number on them. They can call. And I mean, the ultimate case would be they said, you know what, I'm sorry, I apologize. It was silly of me. I was being selfish. I just was, in a huff or whatever. But for some people, it triggers something in their brain, some kind of human psychology, where despite the fact that it does absolutely no damage to their vehicle, they take it as some kind of, invasion of their personal space or something. And like with the man we talked about in Texas, they'll try to chase me down and threaten me great bodily violence. It's not something we thought was going to happen with these things, but it's been sort of a weird outcome in some cases.
So you have a website where people can go and watch your videos. Of course, you have a YouTube channel. You're on Instagram. That's where I found you, is on Instagram, where you're posting your videos. Okay. Are you taking donations, or are you just...
Yeah, we do get...
can people get involved?
We appreciate that thought from people, because we do get, emails to messages saying, hey, can I give you some money or whatever? And that's very nice of people to offer, but at this point, we're just doing it for, like I said, it's just a public service, basically. It's analogous to picking up litter, but you can't, if we could see a person littering, we'd be happy to call them out on that, again, in a polite, respectful manner. At this point, if they want to buy like a sticker or a t-shirt, we do have those at cartnarcs.com. All the proceeds go to, I believe it's the ASPCA through the service we use. So we appreciate that thought. And again, you're right. If you want to, we pretty much have all our materials pretty much the same on any YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Just at Cart Narcs.
Ah. Well, they're entertaining videos for sure. And
it's something we didn't think would kind of blow up like this when we started it, because if you watch the first ones, they aren't necessarily as like you said, entertaining, but it's just a weird, the more we do it, the more we delve into like this weird section of human psychology.
Well, some of the guys might have some questions here. You up for some questions?
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right, getting back to the guy that threatened to shoot you and you got him on camera, the question I have is, did Dallas police reopen the case with the shooting on the DART train, a la what happened with Robert Durst, where he basically ran his mouth off, and they reopened the investigation on that?
That's a really good question, and I have to admit I don't know the behind-the-scenes workings, but I'm a little disappointed because, threatening, when people threaten me, that's a crime in most jurisdictions because it's a credible threat. The guys who threaten to punch me or hit me with their truck, or in this case, shoot me with a gun, that's a credible threat. At first, I didn't submit anything to anyone because, like I said, I figured he's just kind of mouthing off. After I saw the video, because there was some cell phone video, right after he shot the guy on the DART train, I said, okay, this guy, he clearly, at least in my estimation, doesn't need a concealed carry permit. He's obviously a little
unhinged.
Has a little bit of a hair trigger.
Yeah.
So I used, and actually technically it was in Richardson, Texas, which is just a suburb just northeast of Dallas. So I sent it to them, to their police department, to their online submission link. I know for a fact, as soon as we published the update video, a lot of people tagged the Dallas PD and the Richardson PD because I don't know what I assume they have their own police department. I know a lot of jurisdictions do that covers just their train systems and their buses. I don't know if they could reopen it. Who knows? But I would think at the very least, I'm disappointed that I have not heard back from the Richardson Police Department about either wanting to take a statement. I don't know who covers issuance of concealed carry permits in Texas, but I haven't heard anything back from them at all. And I think it's almost impossible at this point, with the hundreds of thousands and I think maybe even millions of views across different platforms, that someone either at Dallas PD or Richardson PD hasn't seen that video, because they get tagged in it left and right, not just by myself, but by random people who are watching it on Twitter, Instagram, etc. So maybe they got more on their plate. Maybe they don't. Maybe it's something they can't work with. Who knows? I don't know. But I would say I'm a little disappointed, at least in the Richardson Police Department.
Definitely entertaining.
Well, yeah.
To see you go after these folks.
Go ahead.
And do you think you're making a difference? I mean, you started in California.
Yes.
But some of the videos were from outside of California. How can people get involved in this? And are you promoting other people to join you in this?
Well, that's another question we get a lot, pretty much every day. They want to help out. And again, I appreciate the sentiment, but from a legal standpoint, let's say, God forbid, someone did get shot and it wasn't me. Not only is that, an awful tragedy, it was, but beyond that, that's a humongous legal liability that I can't afford. And, so it's appreciated. So that our standard response to that is, please don't try this at home. You feel free to observe and report. If you look at our Instagram story, people send us in pictures and videos all the time of them either returning their carts like they should be, or of them observing situations that are ridiculous in their mind. But if anyone ever sends us a video where we can see that they're trying to make a confrontation for themselves, we will never repost that if we can see that's what's going on, for that reason itself. Because, again, appreciate the enthusiasm, but at least right now we're way too small scale to be encouraging anything where there's even the slightest bit of chance that either they could get hurt or that the person they're talking to could get hurt. It's just, it wouldn't be a responsible thing to do. That being said, maybe in the future there may be a chance for us to kind of do, like, I don't know, some sort of fun little academy or something. Because again, this is supposed to be lighthearted. This isn't supposed to be. This isn't supposed to be involving gunplay, hopefully, and violence. But yeah, for the time being, it's very much a please don't try this at home. Like Jackass used to say, we will not open any submissions, et cetera, et cetera. Just because the second we do that's we're encouraging, even if it is silly, vigilantism.
Well, because technically no laws are being broken. It's just common courtesy. It's just common courtesy.
We've talked to cops, and they've never had a problem with us doing anything. It's just the collateral damage.
Now, has a store owner or a shopping center manager, anybody ever confronted you or thanked you or told you to stop?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because we run into the people we see the most are the people who are out getting the carts, and they've always been cool. They're like, hey, either they don't know who we are, we explain it, and they're cool with it, and they think it's interesting, or they do know who we are, and they give us, like high five or whatever. There have been probably 2 or 3 different occasions where we've had an encounter with someone. They've either gone back inside the store or called the store and said, hey, blah, 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 blah. And when you watch our videos, the story that the person on the phone tells varies wildly from what actually happened. So who knows what they're telling the manager on the phone? Like, they're probably saying, "Oh, this guy came out and threatened me," blah, blah, blah.
Of course, yeah.
People will, on the videos you see where people call the cops, they lie almost instantly.
Oh, absolutely.
It's on camera. Everything's on camera.
Well, it's called victim embellishment, is what it's called.
Yes, that's a very good. I'm going to use that. That's a very
victim
good
embellishment.
A very good phrase. So, go ahead.
Well, it happens a lot just in normal police work. I was a police officer for 8 years, and I learned over time that whatever you hear from dispatch when you're heading into a call, you listen for the keywords for weapons, you're checking. We had computer terminals, so we could check prior history on that address. Was there a history of that kind of stuff? But usually you could knock down the caller complaint by about 50%.
I believe it.
And
yeah, so
I would say 70% of the time, if somebody said a gun was there, I would say that turned out not to be true. But that's what, people call the cops, people that have a lot of interaction with the police in a negative way. They know the keywords that are going to bump that call up the priority list. So if you're pissing somebody off by just telling them to put their cart back in the cart corral, and they call the police, of course they're going to tell them that you threatened them or use language or to push that call up the priority list so officers will respond. Because if it's just a verbal altercation, that's a very low priority. But if it's an altercation with a weapon or a threat of violence, well, that bumps it up a little bit. And that'll get officers on the way.
That makes total sense.
Well,
and again, when you see people use that language with us, and you're assaulting me. I'm like, what? I did no such thing. But like you said, they know those are key words they can use to put themselves in a, like you said, victim embellishment. Is that right?
Yeah, victim embellishment. Another one is I'm offended.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
That's a great one. I'm offended.
So yeah, when I have talked, to answer your original question, when I have talked to managers, they've been cool. They've just said, "Hey, we got a complaint. Do you mind?" And I tell them the phrase I use all the time is, I don't want to make your job any harder than it is. So I take off, say, "Hey, man, thanks a lot." But none of them have ever come out to me in an angry fashion. None of them have ever, tried to threaten me in any way. They've always been cool. And because at the end of the day, I'm not, like you said, all I'm doing is asking people to put their carts back, essentially. But people, because they get called out on being lazy, they sometimes flip out, like you say.
Yeah, and a lot of them probably don't understand why it's such a serious thing, and it's all fun and games until a cart's sitting out in the middle of an empty Texas parking lot and a gust of wind comes up and blows it into the side of your car.
Right. One of the comments I see a lot is, from people who are yelling at me is, "You know what, this," and who are yelling at the store manager, is these are the exact same people who, like you said, a month later will go back and yell at that same store manager because a loose cart hit their car.
Yeah.
And it's just property damage. It's not the end of the world, but it's neither is littering. It's just a small pet peeve for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, keep up the good work. Keep up with the videos, because the videos they pop up on I see them on Instagram, and I don't know if you do you have a TikTok too? Or not
We
yet?
do. It's a little tougher to get them up on there because I think we're at a 60-second limit. But we try to. It's just it's a one-man operation basically.
Yeah.
So it's we try to feed each platform as best we can.
Well, I ran into you on Instagram. It's good stuff, and please be safe though. Don't get beat up or shot.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is anytime that, and you can see it in some of our videos, anytime that the person is acting just above and beyond ridiculous, we'll back off. We don't want ourselves. I mean, we don't want them to get hurt. We don't want anybody, bystanders, to get hurt. We don't want us to get hurt. So we're not. That's why we are never, within touching distance of anybody, obviously. But beyond that, we always are de-escalating as far as anything physical goes. We're never going to pick up. That's another comment we get a lot is, "Oh, you puss. Why didn't you go after so and so? I would have knocked that No, we're not here to win or lose fights. We're not here to get into any fights. We're here to just to talk about carts. So I appreciate that. And yeah, now that a lot of the states are lifting their sort of their store restrictions and their travel restrictions, we're going to start shooting some new videos because we've been taking obviously a few weeks off as everyone else has for a lot of different things.
Yeah, well, I didn't take any. Well, I took 1 week off for car maintenance, but that was it. But I've been out there, and a lot of what I was doing since my transportation of people kind of dried up was delivering groceries to elderly and stuff like that. So I was in the grocery store every day, 5-6 times. And I will let you know that here in Texas, I don't see that many loose carts, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm from Nashville myself, and I was there over Christmas, and I hung out for a while, man. It was a downtime because it was over the holiday, but it seems like the South in general, obviously we're just talking about a guy from Texas, but in general, more polite, more conscientious about picking up after themselves. But, out here in California, there's no shortage.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Cart Narcs, and let people know how they can find you on the different social platforms here.
Yeah, we're on all the main platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. If you like, at Cart Narcs on all those channels. I think probably the best and most complete collection is on Facebook and YouTube. And again, cartnarcs.com if you'd like a sticker or a T-shirt or anything. Again, all that proceed goes to charity, though.
Good deal. Well, Agent Sebastian, thank you so much for coming on my show. Excellent work. I'm probably going to try to get one of your T-shirts and help you out.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. I appreciate your having me, and thanks a lot, and have a great time.
Hey, and if anything comes up and you want to come back on, you got a video you want to show, or just send us a link and we'll show it and we'll promote what you're doing.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I'll keep in touch as the rest of this year kind of opens up for us.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a great night.
You have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Agent Sebastian, Cart Narcs. And to answer one of the folks on the chat, no, we're not taking calls. We don't take calls on this show unless you're a guest. You have to be invited on. So you can leave a comment in the chat, or you can tweet me at MikeAllen_OTA, hashtag it Radio Man Cave, or you can give me an email at MikeAllenSports@gmail.com. Now the rest of the guys are here. What did you think about that?
It's pretty cool. Pretty good stuff.
How long was he doing this whole thing with Cart Narcs?
Well, he showed up on my Instagram probably last year. I think I started seeing them. And then, I mean, they're funny. They are funny videos because sometimes
the one earlier, with the dude that just like lost his ever-loving mind
and then burned off.
Like through his he had one of the reusable he had like one of the reusable bags, and he like threw it at him. Like, dude, there goes all your groceries, pal, just because you're throwing a bitch fit.
Well, I saw the one where the guy said he was a murderer or he shot somebody.
Yeah, I saw that one too. And then they also have the one posted of the actual the news bit with it.
From CBS DFW.
Jesus Christ, what's going on over here? So if you're like found not guilty of a crime, they can't reopen a case, right?
Yeah, once a judgment is rendered in a case, then that's it. You cannot be tried for the same crime twice.
But was there ever a judgment rendered? Did it ever get that point?
Well, he was free. So
either
he escaped or something happened.
Or did they not even file any charges against the guy? Or
I don't know. He said they investigated it, and yeah. But he was out, and he was out threatening to kill somebody, telling him to take the cart back to the.
Yeah, they don't do like a psych evaluation when they give you your concealed carry license. They're just like, don't break the law.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Well,
you have to qualify and all that other stuff.
And then with the renewals, you don't even have to take a class. So they just run your background check, and if nothing comes up, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, if you take somebody's life.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
So, well, how's everybody doing in the apocalypse? It looks like Mike's got a new apocalypse haircut.
Yeah.
He's got the mud flap going.
The mud flap had to make a comeback.
Scoot over there so they can actually
I guess.
Nice.
I don't know if the people
Did you put some Soul Glow in that?
Nah, dude. That's just straight water and head and shoulders. Got to do the tail whip.
Dude, let's get another tail whip. Hey, look at that. All right.
You're ready. Hey, you're ready to play some baseball in Mexico with that haircut, brother.
No, what I'm ready to do is go buy some pit vipers and go jump a motorcycle.
Into the baseball field and then do some donuts around the pitcher's mound.
And tell people how trash they are. Because I will.
I know you will.
Oh, it's just wait. You wait.
Yeah.
You were
Danger Davis, was it Danger? Knievel, right? Yeah, Danger Davis Knievel.
No, he's Mad Mike.
Yeah.
That's Mad Mike.
Yeah.
That's Danger Davis over here.
From now on,
Danger
it's
Davis,
it's
yeah.
Mr. Mud
So what was
Flap
the
to
motivation for the mud flap,
you.
dude?
I bet you wouldn't get a mullet again. And I was like, you don't know that much about me, do you?
Who
cut your
told you
bangs.
that?
Oh, my mom did, dude.
Your mom did?
Dude, this actually turned out pretty dirty in the grand scheme of things. I was like, holy shit, mom.
Come too short, you gotta get more of a poof going on in the
Well,
front.
here's the
so you
thing.
can get a
That's
nice
not
little
business.
Slick back.
It's not business, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is you gotta
It's
give you a
supposed
little
to
bit
be
more, you know.
It has to be more business
called
in the front,
Business
party in the, back.
front, yeah.
Yeah,
Party
yeah.
in the back.
And I'm not even it's not even in its final form. I'm waiting for the mud flap to grow longer, and we kind of cut the sides too short, if you
Dude.
can't tell. And we're gonna probably shave some power lines again, or
Hey, man.
something else.
let me bleach a skunk stripe into your hair.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you
maybe
you know
we'll
what?
dye it red.
If you let them do that, I bet you they wouldn't block you in the toilet again.
Oh yeah, we would.
Oh yeah, no, that's just a common thing. Like if you're at a porta potty and it's bad, assume you're gonna get locked into it by somebody. That's just standard operating procedure at the company just about now.
Yeah,
We're at a porta potty that's literally a biohazard.
So wait, you got locked in a porta potty?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they put our mini skid in front of it. So I couldn't even try to power through and because it's also on this weird thing to where if I tried to move the porta potty around from the inside, it would probably roll down a hill.
You should have done that.
No.
No, then I wouldn't let him back in the house.
Yeah, I definitely don't want cholera
Yeah, that's
or
not happening.
dysentery or whatever weird
I mean,
diseases.
you've beaten the Oregon Trail. I think you'll be fine.
No, I cannot beat this porta potty. This is how bad.
Porta potty 1, Mike 0.
Yeah, no, this would be it's probably one of the worst porta potties ever. Yeah, no.
So we're in what
So,
week? What week are we in this pandemic?
Well, we're in the first
lockdown?
week of reopening.
This is what
Well, the
day
second,
45, something like that. Day 50.
The total thing. So Austin, Texas reopened. The state of Texas reopened this weekend, and I got back to driving, making good money, and people are out and about and moving around. And here's my question that I would like to ask. As we listen to Patty jam that back into its holder when it's an on-off switch on the microphone, literally.
Before you say that, I just want to tell people when I'm out fishing, go away because I'm trying to fish. Okay.
Yeah. Social distance.
Yeah. No, your fishing is interrupting my fishing. So go home, you bunch of losers. Over here crowding, not catching anything, and I have to show up and be ripping lips and packing dips, and these people just can't even do either, man.
What the hell is he talking about? Good Lord. Anyway, so people that are listening, if your state opened up, let us know in the comments, and we'll read them out here. What'd you guys do? Did you go outside? Did you move? I mean, he went fishing. And then we went to Wrench Apart, and there was absolutely zero social distancing.
Oh yeah, there was negative social distancing. They
weren't even trying.
I made some cool electrician friends. Those guys were pretty badass. Found a wrench.
Found an awesome wrench, man.
Man,
we found a half inch Husky driver.
Yeah, that was
damn near brand new.
I was like, is this anybody's? And, nah, bro.
Mine now.
In my pocket it goes. Pulled a bumper for the Explorer, which was pretty cool because
pulled the front bumper for the man van.
Yeah, I'm still embarrassed about how the bumper was previously already pretty chingale because some dude rear-ended me. And then I backed into like a thing. Parking lot.
Oh, are we not going to tell them what you did? You backed into
A gate, like a
gate
dumpster
to
gate.
A dumpster.
So you know, like
gate?
the giant heavy steel gates that they like.
Yeah,
make
they
for
close them in
dumpsters?
the dumpster.
Yeah.
Like the dumpster corrals. Yeah,
like in the during the day when people are in parking
Yeah,
lots. Well, this
yeah.
one was clearly fucking open, and I was like backing up my truck and not giving a shit as usual because it's like whatever. If you're behind me, like get the fuck out the way. Okay, this piece of shit moves in two
Big
speeds.
immovable steel door. You're in my way.
Yeah. Yeah, I bumped into that shit hard. I was like, oh, that's not good.
I'm pretty sure both of us like suffered minor.
Oh, you were in the car with him?
Yeah, I was in the vehicle with
Yeah.
him, and we're just
Didn't
backing
even
up.
think
We're
to
like,
say anything.
I
He was
didn't
like-
know.
yeah.
We're sitting there and we're just like backing up, and then it's just like boom, and we're like,
If
what
he was
did
like,
we hit?
if I was Han Solo and he was Chewbacca, we would have been dead. Anyway, so I hit this thing and I was like, because I think I hit it pretty hard. So that we're in the Whataburger like drive-through because social distancing, you can't go in the friggin' like room or whatever. So we're going through the drive-through, and then I just see Alex like dying laughing in the rearview mirror, and I was like, "Shit, it's bad." And Patty goes back there, and he's like, "Oh,
Dude, I walk back there. I look at Alex. Alex is laughing his ass off, and I'm just like,
his face is like turning red, and he's crying."
oh, dude, it was fucking bad.
I was laughing because it took me a while to find which dent it was. And it ended up being the dent that was going to keep his back door shut. But I thought was hilarious because that door's a piece of shit to begin with.
So you
Now
just
it
look
can't
for
even open.
So you just look for the cleanest dent, right? The most
Well, like,
recent. Yeah.
You could like open and close it, and like it closes just fine, right? And it opens just fine, right? But the problem is like now because that plastic's in the way, it's like I had to like hammer down the plastic to get it to clear. I was so pissed. It was not a good day. Oh man, it was pretty frustrating.
It took like probably took like a good 15, 20 seconds for him to get the back door closed.
Yeah,
But
because I had to close it like twice.
it was fucking hilarious. But yeah, we sat around, we enjoyed some Whataburger.
Did some hiking.
Yeah, which was Garbo, because like for some reason
Everybody's
wants
out
to go
hiking
fucking
and
hiking.
everybody's out fishing, and I'm like, okay, you don't even enjoy the outdoors normally. Like, while I do support the people like going outside and enjoying the outdoors because nature totally rules, they're messing up my nature. Okay, and I'm not trying to say that I'm naturist, but we've been doing this for a while. You like shoebies, like go home. You and your clean hiking shoes, like get out of here.
just picked him up from the.
Yeah.
Just picked him up from REI.
Yeah. They're like, well, since I'm a hiker now, I got to make sure I hike super hard. And like we'd see like some lady power walking. We're like, oh, man. Like,
Dude, yeah, so we got
it was
out
frustrating.
To,
it was crap.
yeah,
You
we
wore
got
your
out
vest,
to-
didn't you?
No. I wore
No,
like,
we weren't.
yeah, we're not like,
We got out to.
do we look like we do
Walnut Creek.
CrossFit to you?
Yeah, we got out to Walnut Creek about like 9:00, and it was fucking packed. They
There
were
was-
like, all right, screw this. This is Garbo. Let's go hit up Emma Long. We pull up to Emma Long where we usually hit our usual trail at.
And there's nobody there
like,
normally.
yeah, there's like it's usually empty, maybe a car or two. We get there and there like the entire parking lot's full.
There's people
20,
parking like almost a
30
half
cars
a mile up the road,
all the
on
way
the side.
up the road. And it's just, and we're just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
We had to
like,
park like somewhere else on a side road and then take like a secret entrance the only we know about, and we're gonna keep it that way so we can then go and enjoy our hiking experience because
yeah.
yeah,
No entry, but
we're like
just walk around.
yeah, whatever. When has a sign stopped me before? Obviously, gates haven't.
Yeah, man, it was awful.
It was pretty. I mean, like like I said, I'm glad people are out and enjoying nature and not social distancing at all because, like, whatever, I don't care. That's their prerogative. But I'm like, man, like, usually it's just us out hiking, and then we
Yeah.
saw like 50 people. Like, we kind of sat there and chilled for a little bit and kind of like talked and had some water. I think we probably like had like 40 people pass us in like
Yeah.
15 minutes or so.
Nice.
Of course.
Well, I went out as you know. I drive for Uber and Lyft and Ride Austin. Ride Austin has not yet opened up the doors, and I do not think they're going to. Thursday night was the night before the big opening, and I decided to forego deliveries and see about just taking passengers, and it was awesome for 3 days. It was like the old days. And I know none of my fellow rideshare drivers are watching this, but yeah, stay home, guys. You're good.
Back in the old time of Uber days.
Back in the old days when we used to make money without trying.
You just let me do this. You go home. Thank you. Wow. I was trying to do my Borat voice.
Racist.
I was trying
Thank
to
you.
do the
Come again.
Borat. No, I wasn't trying to do that one. I was trying to do
Hey, you know
Borat.
Uber drivers are fat bearded guys. You know that, right? From America.
Yeah. Joe Ellen says, hi, bye, love from JoJo.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Hola.
Joe's gonna actually once we get the performance space up, she's gonna be one of our first performers to come in and sing.
Nice.
She's awesome.
I actually went to Lakeline Mall when they reopened it on Friday, and literally the only things that were open: Chick-fil-A, Auntie Anne's, a couple local businesses, mostly to fix iPods, and Finish Line shoes. That's it. None of the department stores were open. The movie theater, of course, wasn't open. I mean, it's interesting.
So it's just a bunch of people at the mall walking around.
There was maybe 20 people at the mall total, and it was hot because you could tell they left the air conditioning on. They left the air conditioning off for the past month.
Huh.
And none of the department stores were actually open on Friday. Supposedly Macy's reopened today. I have not gone back there.
Well, J. Crew.
Filed for bankruptcy. J.C. Penney might be filing for bankruptcy, and Neiman Marcus has got a lot of debt, and they might be filing for bankruptcy as well.
You know, Austin lost another institution when Threadgill's up on North Lamar.
Not much of an institution if the food sucks for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
It's
how about Magnolia? One of the Magnolia shows?
Well,
I've only been there when I'm like
the Magnolia,
drunk as shit, so.
yeah,
the-
they
the-
literally cater to drunk people.
Magnolia and South Congress is still open and doing well.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it was packed.
Yeah, the other
It was
one.
packed.
Yeah, the other one closed, but like its only literally like purpose is to serve drunk people. Like
Yeah.
I went there in the
Yeah.
middle
Well,
of the day
I'll
when I was
tell you
out
what-
working, and I was like, "This is not as good as I remember." But I'm also like 100% more sober, so I was like,
Yeah, that's why. Well,
Whatever.
the one that closed down off of West Lake Austin, it was
Lake Austin Boulevard.
Lake Austin Boulevard.
Lake Larson Boulevard, yeah.
Their parking was horrible. It was in a bad spot. It was originally a house.
Yeah.
So they just paved over the front yard, and that's where it was back in the '70s when it first came out, or when it first opened. It was a house. It was a neighborhood restaurant. Now that whole area around it is getting built up, and the property it's sitting on is actually very expensive property.
So they probably sold the
So
property.
they probably,
to make profit.
yeah. So they're probably going to reopen another Magnolia Cafe because there was only 2 of them. There was that one and the one in South Congress, and here Kirby Lane's sprouting up all over the place. I have no, there's 3 Magnolias. There's one more up in North Austin somewhere, I think. Look, somebody Google it.
I'm busy.
Well, the thing with Kirby is that they've changed. They're not the same Kirby that you and I remember as Old Austin. While Magnolia still has that Old Austin feel. But yes, I do agree with
that's drunk
Mad
food.
Mike. The time to go to Magnolia or IHOP or Denny's is 3 a.m. in the morning when
Yep.
you're toasted.
And I think that's when the better cooks are on duty
That too.
So are you saying that the property was expensive because of the property taxes?
Well, it was hard to get in there. I mean, it wasn't really. I mean, when you go in the restaurant, it had that kind of quirky feel to it. But how many people can you get in there really? What was their maximum occupancy? Like 40, 45 people? I mean, it wasn't a good space. Wasn't a good place to park. The building really wasn't set up to be a restaurant. It was a house that they converted into a restaurant. So there's a lot of things, that just business-wise, you're not going to be able to turn a very good profit at that location. So I get it, but I don't think it's going away. I think they're just changing locations to a better space.
Yeah, the one on South Congress is still.
That's awesome.
And do they own the dirt on the one on South Congress?
Oh, I don't know.
Because that
But
was-
they've been there since the 80s, though.
So
Late 80s.
probably, yeah.
So
they
hopefully, yeah. I mean, what
Yeah.
the guy with Threadgills, I think he's retiring, and he's just going to sell the land.
yeah, which is worth like. I mean, they could probably sell Threadgills, make a gajillion dollars, and then move anywhere else and start like new.
Well, they
Threadgills,
had
and
they had
nobody
they had the Thread. The original Threadgills was up on Lamar.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
Threadgills opened up when they shut down the Armadillo World headquarters.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
absorbed all that right there at the corner. But that is prime property.
Yeah.
So wasn't that
The
a
one
Bennigan's?
downtown.
I remember that being a Bennigan's.
The Threadgills downtown? No, the Threadgills.
No, it was
Riverside
across the
and
street from the Bennigan's. The Bennigan's was in the Embassy Suites parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
And the Hooters was across the street from that. That's been torn down. They're going to be building a
Oh,
30-story building right there.
Oh, God forbid we can't go to Hooter.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody missed that.
What are we gonna do
And that
without Hooters?
literally was the worst Hooters in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad.
There's
Hooters?
a couple in Round Rock.
There's one by
Yeah.
the Olive Garden in Round Rock.
Yeah, there's a Hooters right by the 130, 35, or 45,
45 and the
35.
I would say
yeah.
I could, the only time I really went to Hooters was we were in Houston, and there was one in the same parking lot as our hotel.
Yeah.
And they were super cool with us, and they gave us like half off free beer because like 20 dudes would come in at the same time, all working for AT&T, and be like, "Well, we're getting drunk on a Saturday," and they're like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool."
And Hooters food is what you would expect at a Hooters. Yeah, it's not gonna. You don't go there for the food,
It's 2020, baby. Got to step up that cuisine game.
but it's
Enchilada y Mas
let's
is
put
also-
it this way. It's not.
Ass and titties only going to get you so far, man.
It's not cafe quality food, but it's far from stripper club quality food. It's just, but you don't go in there for the food, and it's kind of hard to mess up a chicken fried steak.
True.
I mean, you got to be not a very good person in life to mess up a chicken fried steak or anything deep fried. Really,
The other
just change the oil and take it out when the timer beeps.
And the other restaurant casualties are Enchilada y Mas on Burnett and North by Northwest.
What?
Yeah, North by Northwest up in the Arboretum Gateway area. That announced it was going to shut down permanently a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
That wasn't that good.
No.
Yeah. It was expensive too.
I don't feel bad about these places that were subpar closing.
Yeah.
Enchilada y Mas? That was good.
I'll tell you this, though. I shed a tear over Star Seeds. Because Star Seeds Cafe was my
Did that close?
go-to. It didn't close.
It got bastardized.
It got something worse happened. It changed owners. So I discovered Star Seeds when I was a young police officer and in Charlie Sector, which was everything east of I-35. There was no places that were open 24 hours except for the crappy Denny's on 15th Street.
Yeah.
And
that place sucks.
that's a horrible Denny's. And so we would have to drive out of district to go all the way to Kirby Lane, or we'd have to go down. We couldn't stay local. And then one night, I can't remember what the call was, but I drove by and I saw it and I remembered it. So me and my partner went and ate there, and that food was amazing, and it was cheap, and it was a big old plate, and it was a big, you know what I'm saying? But it's greasy cafe food. It's not gourmet stuff.
I mean,
The biscuits were handmade. The gravy was in-house made.
Didn't they also give discounts for veterans as well?
Gave discounts for police and veterans. I mean, we tipped good. I mean, it was a good. And their tacos, they basically just put all the taco fixings on a plate and buried the taco shells.
The migas, yes.
No, not the migas. The
The
breakfast
taco.
tacos.
Oh, wow.
And then they had a good plate of migas. I mean, it was just good food. And so when I became a rideshare driver, well, that's where we'd end up after bar close. It was at Starseeds. And there'd be 20, 30 drivers pile in there. And Starseeds loved it because we pushed all the drunks out. And then they loved it even more because when we were done eating, we'd turn our apps on and we'd take all the drunks out of there. But then it changed hands. Now it's just the Star Cafe. And I went there the other day, and now the wait staff at Starseeds was always a little bit surly. They're the tattooed nose ring, septum piercing.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. I didn't say anything wrong with it. it's just
That's
that.
like
but
seriously
it was
half of Austin
but there it was encouraged. So you have a guy there is covered in tattoos, sleeved out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's old Austin.
Kind of that eclectic type thing.
The same people that worked at Hope's.
The food was always on time. The wait staff had that attitude, but it wasn't.
That was part of the charm.
Yeah, it was part of the charm. So I go in there. The first time I went there, I sat down, and I used to walk in and sit down at a booth. I didn't see the sign that says "Wait to be seated." There was nobody else in there, so I just went out and sat down at a booth. Okay, so I got off on the wrong foot. I get that, but still, even if somebody goes and sits down and it's half empty, let's not carry that grudge through the entire meal. And I ordered what I usually ordered, and it came out. It was half the size of what I'm used to in that restaurant.
Holy crap!
And it was more expensive. So I paid $18 for something I used to pay $10 for, and it was about 2/3 of what the portion, and it was all spread out. You know how like when you get biscuits and gravy, they give me a big old plate with 2 biscuits on it and gravy, another big old plate with the eggs on it, another big old plate with that. Just put it all in one plate. Yeah. Don't dirty up 3 plates. So I have to scrape it all in one plate. Just do it like Denny's does and put it all in one plate. Or Jim's. I'll go to Jim's before I go to Denny's, by the way. So anyway.
If Jim's reopens.
So that's, they're open.
I thought they laid everyone off.
No.
Jim's is back?
I've been doing deliveries from Jim's. Huh. But anyway, that was the first time. So I'm like, okay, well, I always give restaurants 2 chances, because the first time could have been a bad day. The waitress could have been having a bad day. You know, ball took a bad hop. Sun got in your eyes for whatever reason. So I went back to the second time around and went in, and I got a different plate that I usually get from there, and it was just as bad as the first one, and it took forever. I mean, I wasn't in a hurry, but here's my timeline. If I go in a restaurant, even a good restaurant, if I go in, I'm sat down, water and tea right away, right? And then maybe 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. Check. Hey, you ready? You ready to go? Make 10 minutes. Not 40 minutes later.
40?
Yeah. And I happened
to be out the door by 40.
I had my pad there, so I was writing and doing some other stuff, and I just happened to look down. I'm like, damn, I've been here for a long time. So I had to flag down the wait staff to come back to the table and get my order, and then it was another 30 minutes on top of that to get my food. Now this isn't food that, you're
waiting over an hour.
You're not butchering the pig, running it through the meat grinder. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's breakfast food.
Yeah.
How long does breakfast food take?
5-10 minutes.
10 minutes at the most.
Did they forget to put your order in?
I don't know. It was 30 minutes later. 30 minutes later. Did you just Uber Eats? God.
And you didn't order us anything?
So that was strike 2. But since it's Starseeds, I wanted to give it one more shot. So I went back late night, and it says, wait to be seated. This time I saw the sign. It was about half full, but half the tables were dirty. I sat down, and I sat there, and I gave them 30 minutes. I said, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to give them a good solid 30. Because I can get on the internet and mess around and stuff. Why are you playing with your camera on the...
I'm fixing stuff, okay?
Am I boring you with my story?
No.
We're producing over here.
Yeah.
Why don't you do your job? Let us do our
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, you should get footage of Mike eating a burrito.
So
a big old burrito here.
So that was it. So that was the strike 3s and you're out, and that was an Austin institution that had been around for 55, 60 years.
So after 30 minutes, they didn't come by.
No, they didn't even seat me.
So you just got, I would have left too. Yeah. I wouldn't even give them 30 minutes.
They didn't clean off a table. And didn't even act like So I'm like, you don't want my business. I'm not gonna force my way into some place to give them my money. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
I mean, if I go into a restaurant and I get crappy service, or for some reason they don't serve me because of whatever, I got a beard. I'm, I don't know. They think I'm a Trump supporter. They think I'm a Biden supporter. Whatever the reason. If I walk into a business and that business doesn't want me there, I'm not going to force my money on that person. I'm going to leave.
When you going to come to my place, man? Get some food. The only thing you did last time was use the restroom.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's all Fish City Bowl is good for.
Oh.
Ooh.
Don't tell that to Davis. We give him free scotch.
Oh, wait a minute. You give out.
If I like basically what happened was we had a bottle of Chivas. No?
Bottle of Chivas?
Yeah, we had a bottle of Chivas and we needed to get rid of it.
Well, so that's my restaurant story. So how's that Taco Bell, Mike?
It's Taco Bell, so delicious.
Did you not see him like?
I
Just
was
full
like-
on, like
Yeah.
Oh, he inhales food, man. It's glorious to
he
watch.
especially inhales burrito-shaped objects.
Yeah, because burritos are delicious.
And you got it from Taco Bell, which basically have the same
I mean,
three
that's
ingredients.
what I had for lunch.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Taco Bell is healthier than just about every other like fast food chain, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's like, I don't know. I'm hungry, and it's like the most quick and efficient. So it's one of those things. I'm pretty hungry. I didn't eat since like whenever I ate last, which was like 11:30.
Oh man,
What do you eat, like,
you're
once a
on your
day?
deathbed.
Yeah, I had like 1 or 2 kolaches in the morning over for a meeting, and then didn't eat until like 11:30ish. Once we had to go over to Pete Harry's, grab our food, and then went back to the job site and ate. So I was like,
So you guys you work with my son
yeah.
and with Terra Dur Landscaping, and you guys didn't slow down at all during this, did you? What?
He's just like, oh man, fuck this shit.
Changing subjects.
Well, was I not supposed to say anything or what?
What we should do is have a OTA eating contest where Mike
so
and
Davis can win?
Mike and I will do the 72-ounce steak challenge up in Amarillo.
Why does it just have to be you two? I mean,
Well, let's do it. I'll have all of us, but I know this guy.
Steak challenge. Let's just go eat like a pile of pizza or something.
I'm down.
I like pizza.
That's whatever tacos.
I'm down.
What type of burrito is that? Is it the 5-layer burrito?
Slow down, Haas. You'd lose a finger. So what?
If he was
did you
Alex
guys?
Jones, he would enjoy it.
Back on topic. Things are opening up. What did you guys notice this last couple of days, last week, and then today with the city opening up? Did you notice anything different?
Traffic's back.
Yeah. Traffic got worse.
Traffic's
It's
garbage.
bullshit.
I mean, we had people come out and they were like, "Oh, we're so happy you're back."
Other than that, I'm like, I still don't want to be by people. So I'm, grab my food, go through the drive-thru, go back to the job site, and ignore everybody
Yeah.
because people suck.
All I want to say is, like, I remember seeing, like, all of these things on Facebook where people were just like, hey, when restaurants open back up, let's make sure that we're, like, treating our servers great and stuff like that because, they still had to be out there, like, working and stuff. Very first day we opened, we had somebody come in, like, 5 minutes before close, and they were just like, oh, we're going to get something just real quick, and then we'll be out. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's awesome.
Hour and a half later.
Oh, dude, they ordered, like, 10 pounds of crawfish. And we're there for like an hour and a half.
Well, I guess they tipped $5, right?
I don't know. I wasn't taking care of them. I was just like kind of doing my own.
So wait a minute. You're 10 minutes away from closing, and they stayed there for an hour and a half?
They ordered their food about 15 minutes after we closed. They got their food about 30 minutes after we closed. We closed at 10, and they left a little after, like, I think like 11:15.
So you don't have a policy just to hand them their food to go?
Nope. Our thing is, and it's like what most restaurants do, you treat the first customer like you do, or the last customer like you would like a first customer, or anything like that. And I was just like,
If you close at 10,
And even though these restaurants,
I at some point I'd be like, oh, look, we're closed. So
come back
I
tomorrow.
don't have,
here's your
like, a
to-go.
problem.
Here's your to-go packages. Come back when you can sit and dine
It's
in. We'd
like-
love to have you.
do you guys wrap up silverware and the napkins at the end of the night before the day, or is that a pre-shift thing?
And it's something that the host will usually do, like kind of throughout the shift, and then they'll do some of it. It's pretty much done before we're closed. Like they're gone before the restaurant closes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you should just like clank those motherfuckers like right there by whatever table is.
Oh no!
there, and
Oh no!
just
I was
start
just
wrapping in
super
front of
petty. I
as
just
much
went and because
noise as possible.
'Cause I'd been
Drag
since.
trash cans.
Yeah. No, so like
So I mean, but we're talking about how many people?
how many people did we like? We were 25% capacity.
No. How many people were in this party that kept you an hour and a half after you closed?
3.
Okay, I would go ahead and sacrifice those 3 customers who don't have enough courtesy to realize you're closed, and I would have given them their food to go.
Oh, what I basically told them was, so they ordered like margaritas, and I hadn't realized that they were ordering crawfish yet. So I was trying to be nice. So they were like, hey, can we do just like another round? And we wanted to do a shot. And the server was just like, yeah, no, sorry, the bar is closed, because the bar technically closes at the same time as the kitchen, because we close. So we don't close at like 10:30 like a Chili's or something where they do last call and stuff, because that's when you have to stop actually selling.
Yeah.
So I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be nice. I was like, they're coming out, they're supporting us, being back open, whatever. So I was like, I told the server, I was like, hey, no, I was like, because I was the bartender, so I was like, I'll go make them another drink real quick. So I make them the shots and stuff like that. 10:45 comes around, and this is where I realized just how much food they've ordered and how long it's going to take for them to eat that. And there's like, we want to do another round, and I was like, sorry, pal, bar's closed. And they just gave me this look, and they're just like, oh, are you sure? And I was like, hey, man, I just recommend coming in, like before we close. And then I just gave them a look, and I was just like, and then I like went behind the bar, and I would just like stand there and just be like, making it look like I was cleaning something, or I just stood around.
So you, by policy, you can go up and say, look, I'm sorry, we are closed and we're waiting.
If the kitchen is open until 10 o'clock, they can come in at 10. At 10, we would lock the doors, and like nobody else can come in after that. But it's just a like.
Did they tip well?
I think their bill was like 50 something, and they tipped 20%. So the server didn't get screwed out of anything. So like I had to give them that. I'm like, all right, well, thank you for at least like tipping and stuff like that. I was just super annoyed because I'd been at the restaurant since 9 a.m. and I still had to do all my manager stuff. So I can't start any of that until my servers can clock out.
Yeah.
And I can run my expense reports and stuff. So I'm basically just sitting there with nothing to do. So I went and I sat at a table, and I was just like, and I would just kind of do this, or I mean, I've had things like that happen before, and I've had like servers just kind of stand there like awkwardly in front of them and just be like,
well, I mean, that's a dick move for anybody to come in, knowing that you're closed, then just to sit there and drag their feet. Chuck Licata is calling us in on the Celebrity Hotline. How you doing, Chuck?
Good. Hey, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, how can they only tip 20%? That's a huge loss. I mean, that's an insult. That should have been 35 to 40% tip right there if they kept you that long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should drop a big tip, at least 50%.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Has your restaurant ever hit the 25% capacity limit?
No, so we've had because the majority of our clientele are over 50, so they prefer to sit in a booth. It was hot; they didn't really want to sit outside. We did have to put like 2 or 3 groups on our wait, and since it's we don't know when these folks are going to. I mean, we wrote something up on the board that basically said, "Hey, like times are weird right now. We can only seat so many tables in our dining room. So please, like when you come in, when you're done eating, just like don't camp. Just make your seat available for like the next hungry customer." And stuff like that. And for the most part, people would come, they'd eat, they'd talk to us while they were eating, let us know like what they thought and stuff like that, and then they'd be on their way.
Be on their way.
But when like all the tables inside like filled up, and like we had a group come in, and I was like, hey, well, the bar's available, or you can sit on our patio. They were just like, we'll wait, and they ended up going somewhere else because I don't know how long it's going to take these people to eat their food. So we would say it's going to be about like a 15-20 minute wait. So, but people have been coming in.
Did you guys have to tape the tables off? Because when a friend of mine took me to the Chili's on Friday, they literally took tape and they taped off the table. Says this table can't be used. Which you think?
That's what Denny's did.
Yeah.
They had tables that
We didn't-
had signs on them.
Yeah, we didn't tape anything. Basically, we just had like the marketing, like just print up like a funny little sign, and they each said, "Hey, we're grounded till May 18th," which is kind of funny little thing. So we would put those on the tables. We didn't remove any tables from our dining room or anything like that, but we made sure everything was spaced out to 6 feet. The only difficult thing that's been for us is like with the bar top, when like Uber drivers or whatever come up to pick up food for like Uber Eats or DoorDash, we're supposed to have them go wait outside. So they'll come up to a spot where they're not supposed to be, where it says, hey, this is closed off for like 6 social distancing. They'll come up and be like, oh yeah, your food's just about done. So if you could just like, I was like, we have a little common area outside with like some comfy chairs and stuff that you can wait on. And then they're like, oh no, it's okay, we'll just wait here. And then I was like, no, like I've had to like, I guess kind of like be a dick. I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't stand there. You need to go stand like outside.
In the heat.
Yeah.
Stand out in the heat and the humidity.
So, but other than that, like I've never had like any instances of folks like getting upset about or anything. Mainly, it's just a bunch of the regulars coming in and just hanging out, just glad to be able to get.
And then you guys also had to print up a bunch of menus because they have to be quote unquote disposable.
Yeah, so we had to go buy like, and those things we bought like 300.
So wait, you have
menus.
disposable menus?
Yeah, we got to use disposable
Mandated.
menus. So basically, we just go to Office Depot. We bought like 300 something disposable menus, and it's a one-time use thing. So after that, once they're done with it, we just wrap it up and just Kobe it into the.
Or you can take the menu home as a souvenir.
Why didn't you guys?
Wow.
This was probably one of the most
Why did we
boring
what?
things I've ever heard in my whole life.
It is on our
Number
website.
1, I have spare tables, making a
they're
fort.
old.
Number 2, taping that shit off. Number 3, old people, you stay the hell out. Send your children. I don't want any of you old people in here.
But no,
Because obviously you don't even know how to use a fucking clock.
well, it wasn't even old. The group that came in, they were like our age. They were probably in their late 20s.
Were any of them?
You could have told them to fuck off.
Yeah, you could have told them to go and like kick rocks, losers.
I'm telling you, you could have sacrificed those 3
Yeah.
people and said, "Look, we got to
Hey,
go.
here's my
We're
question.
trying to go home.
Were any
Yeah,
of them?
but then
okay,
it's-
come when
were
you can
any of
enjoy
them
the
hot
meal. Here's
chicks?
your to go."
No,
Okay, yeah, get the hell out.
They regulars?
Get. We
Were they
don't.
regulars?
no. I'd never seen him before. But then
Hey,
you
I'd
also,
count the loss,
Trust
man.
me, I would have loved to
count
like
the
say it.
loss.
I would have loved to say it, but
would've
then at the
taunted
same
them.
time, all it
French.
takes is for like them to like post a Yelp review or something. Which
And nobody will care.
I'll be like,
no.
we went over there
Nobody
right
will
before
care.
close, and they were like,
If you've
yeah.
got a bunch of 5-star reviews and you got that one
it has
Karen,
nothing to do with that. It's the fact that for any type of like Yelp review or anything like that, our CEO, like he looks at every single one that comes in, and like if it's a bad one, he will personally reply to that. So it's just like, would it probably happen? No, but the last thing I need is someone to send like a bad Yelp review saying that, yeah, we had this one guy go and kick us out, even though it was like X amount of minutes before it closed. Yeah, it sucked they came in there that late, but I'm not gonna risk having to have a sit down with like my area director.
and so hold on.
stuff
So
like that.
and you wouldn't be able to sit down with the area director and say, "We informed these folks that we were closed.
But we weren't.
No. Listen. We informed these folks that we were closing in 10 minutes or 50, whenever they walked in, and that they were going to get their food to go, and he wouldn't have backed you up?
Nope. It's like I said, man. As far as the way that we like hold ourselves, we treat the last customer like we do the first customer.
And I go,
The
"Okay, so
interest-
it's a policy
It's
thing.
oh
That's what I asked."
trust me, no. Like
Yeah.
we like outside of like that rule, like I've had chats with like my area director, like director of marketing and stuff like that, and we'll like say like, oh, dude, like when we would do the openings and somebody would come in late, or like when we would do like family and friends, so we'd have people come out and eat for free, and then they would sit there and like abuse the rule and like try to order extra stuff, and we'd go about like pony about it all nice and stuff, and then as soon as they left, we'd be like, fuck that guy, I hope he gets Lou Gehrig's disease. So,
Damn.
well, not like that, but
You know,
I mean, we run a business here, man.
But the outside observation though is that from what I observed and what Patty's observed on the front lines is that
You just gotta
we
accept it.
well no I meant we haven't gotten to the 20
lines.
even to the 25% capacity. So yeah, even though people are out clogging up the parks, pissing off Mad Mike because they're fishing where he usually fishes in solitude.
Don't show us
People
what it
haven't
is.
returned to the restaurants yet.
No, it's a load of bullshit. Today, when we went to like go to Pete Terry's, Place was packed, so it was like every other restaurant because we were over here out in like the west side, and it was just loaded, and like everywhere I passed by, loaded with people, and I'm like,
Yeah, the Pete
I have
Terry's
the
in
mystery
Georgetown
drink, and
was
as
pretty
you guys-
freaking packed.
I'm not even gonna lie, I liked it when I didn't have to be around people. It's great
It was
because my
pretty cool.
shit was like in and out, like it was fast.
This mystery drink is alcoholic.
You're not supposed to tell us that. We're supposed to guess.
It is green.
It's his piss.
And we're gonna have to have a conversation
Oh,
post show.
Jesus Christ.
Numerous things that have been said that were offensive and horrible,
To what?
possibly illegal, against the Geneva Convention, for God's sakes. Pretty sure like what Patrick said was like his long story was a war crime. And like I think that was considered cruel and unusual punishment. Like
They
I
have
had
to,
to,
they have to
wait,
sit there
for
and
me?
listen through that.
I had to stop eating my Taco Bell because it started like giving me a headache.
It's what I do, fam.
This is all.
This doesn't even.
He and I were like, what the hell is this?
Damn, Patty's just slamming it down, man.
It looks like radiator fluid.
It does. doesn't
Patrick,
it?
you probably doesn't know what that looks like, but it's this color green.
Patty, did you like it?
It actually tastes better than it smells, believe it or not,
You
Chuck.
gonna finish yours?
It does look like radiator fluid.
It's actually not that bad.
It does look like antifreeze.
Antifreeze, man.
It is not. Well, it's not horrible.
No, it tastes better than
You know what it
smells.
tastes like? It tastes like carbonated Gatorade. Like carbonated
Apple
diet,
lime Gatorade, yeah.
Yeah,
You
carbonated.
give that to the children.
with a bunch of Jolly Ranchers in it.
I respect not about too much cooked garbage like that.
Yeah, Davis can't use that excuse.
Pour me some more.
You can have mine. Here. Want the rest of it?
Yummy.
Yeah. Actually, hold this.
It
so
tastes
much of it.
appley.
So you want to see what it is?
All right, what is this fucking background noise that I'm hearing? This.
Oh, that's Chuck.
Oh,
That's Chuck
What's
in there.
up?
Chuck sawing
Nice
something.
mullet. Nice mullet, by the way, man, Mike. Nice mullet.
Chuck says nice.
Mike doesn't believe in headphones.
Thank you,
so.
Chuck. Thank
All
you.
right, so what we drank today.
Is it gonna kill me?
Yeah.
Steel Reserve Spiked Tropic Storm.
Oh, we've had that. Oh no, not tropical.
We haven't had this.
It's actually not bad.
Me and Davis have.
Not on the show.
It's
Not
actually
on the
not
show.
hasn't-
but
What is
we've
the-
had
This
Steel
hasn't been a
Reserve.
mystery
What
drink.
is the BAC?
The alcohol content is 8% by
It's
volume.
ABV, not BAC. That's blood alcohol content.
Well, that's probably gonna be high too. After
Brewed for extra gravity and exceptionally smooth flavor.
It
That's
has
it
the
right
gravity, but the flavor is not smooth.
No, Davis, what was the one that we had that was like?
I
actually
forced you
really
to
good?
drink 4 Locos.
No, we've had Steel Reserve. It was.
Oh, just regular ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a White Claw, but it's not bad. I'll drink it.
We're trying to get people into the habit is when you're not talking, instead of standing there and fingering that thing like you hadn't had a date in a while, turn it off so we don't.
No, you.
I don't know if that mic's working.
Yeah.
That's working. It is. I hear it.
Is it?
I feel a buzz.
Yeah, I hear it.
Dun dun dun. I hear myself.
Greg Lewis says you're kind of quiet tonight, Leland. Now he's buzzed because he's taken 3 drinks of this freaking lighter fluid. That
Is there any left?
he's got a bunch.
Yeah, you want some?
Hell yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Leland, what are your thoughts on Joe Biden running for president, and
If he makes it to,
why are him and Trump the same?
they're not the same.
They're not the same.
They're not the same.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that. Trump doesn't have dementia, for starters.
You sure about that?
I'm sure about that. Second of all, Trump is going to make it actually to November. I don't think Biden is going to make it to November, and there's a ton of rumors online that he's going to get replaced at the convention with some combination of Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama.
How's that?
Simple. The,
Hold on,
delegates will say no.
Well, Michelle Obama took sodas out of our schools, Patty. All right, that was an infringement that could not be undone.
How dare you get rid of pop? Okay, I love my diabetes, and it is my God-given right to go and get it as like an 18-year-old.
Yes.
This is America, damn it,
Davis? Who
Just
was
like
it that,
this, I had this conversation today when they banned caffeine and Four Loko and other like drinks. That was government overreach. You know, like half the kids got alcohol poisoning. Let's not mention the fact that they probably drank a case of beer and also encephalated a metric shit ton of cocaine. Then they're like, well, then they drank like 2 Four Locos. Yeah, nah. The Four Locos caused them to die, not everything else.
Yeah,
government overreach.
It's like counting a COVID death. What? He died in a car accident, was decapitated. That COVID.
Yeah, no, except different. Because
had a couple of COVID deaths on the freeway the other night.
this is horseshit.
Closed down the freeway.
I remember
Federal
after
government
they,
overreach.
After
Terrible.
they took sodas out,
Back to Taco
there was
Bell.
somebody then when we were in high school that would go around and he would just have like a 12-pack like Dr. Peppers in his backpack and he'd be selling them off.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
dude, we had black market
Sodas.
pop sales. Yeah.
yeah,
Black market candy bars.
and then he would sell like candy bars and like sodas and stuff, and we couldn't get any there.
We had breakfast tacos in the morning that were $1 each.
Yeah, and then they shut them
breakfast
down.
tacos. Oh yeah, that was bullshit because like, you know, they were
He
good
made
tacos,
it was an
man.
honest look. Yeah, dude, they
When
were-
I was in middle school, they served Pizza Hut in the cafeteria.
Tamales. Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah,
Pizza Hut.
who-
Maybe it was Domino's. No, it was
who
Pizza
was
Hut.
it?
It was one of the janitors.
Yeah,
Or maybe it was Domino's.
yeah. He'd sell us like we'd get there early and he'd sell us like breakfast tacos and he'd sell us like soda. And he had
See.
some of the Mexican sodas and he'd
With actual sugar.
And we'd buy them, and then I guess the principal and stuff found out about it, and they got all butt mad, and we were just like, hey, we just want to be able to have some caffeine and stuff, and you're infringing on those rights.
Or like teachers used to sell like crackers and juice right there, like in the classrooms, like during the in between periods.
Yeah.
So that they can like afford to pay for shit in the classroom.
Yeah,
that the
like school
wasn't paying
supplies.
for, and they shut that shit down too. So like teachers couldn't sell like peanut butter crackers or cheese crackers.
Yeah, like something stupid.
That's straight communist right there.
Yeah, because it was like
Well, it's not communist. Actually, it's more on the lines of like fascism and just
Yeah.
right wing taking on.
Sounds good.
Taking on the
It was
taking
not-
over the economy.
it
and
was
making
not
their
very
way.
cool because then like you had to like wait
Because-
because sometimes I was
beca-
hungry then.
Because I believe that history teachers should be able to hawk snickerdoodles during class time so that they can buy pencil erasers for their students.
I had a math teacher who did candy bars, and that was badass.
Kinnaman did coffee. He let us like for like 50
Yeah,
cents. For like 50 cents at the start of
Yeah,
class
coffee and
because
stuff.
he was just like, you kids are adults and I'm gonna treat you like adults. So yeah. So he'd like let us like buy coffee for like 50 cents and stuff like that. And like right before like class started, he'd give us like what 3-4 minutes of like being on our phones and stuff like that. And he was just like, I'm gonna give you your time to like do that, and then when that time is up, you're gonna give me like your attention and stuff like that. So I'd appreciate it if your phones were like, dude, he was like on a whole nother level.
So basically,
It
it's
was really
going to be
badass that
in
our
my
economics
day.
teacher was also the philosophy teacher. So like,
In my day, I was able
really,
to buy
really cool.
Coca-Cola, pizza, ice cream sandwiches, and Doritos at the school cafeteria.
I couldn't hear.
Shut
what
up,
you just
Grandpa.
said. But yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. Yeah. 5 minutes before class and 5 minutes at the end of class. And
Yeah, and then if it was if we were taking like tests during class, that's all that we would be doing. So when we finished our test, rather than making us sit there until everybody else finished, he would just be like, "You can leave. You can go hang out in the cafeteria." Whatever. He's like, I would not want to waste your time, or I would not want you wasting my time. And I feel like by having you sit here while other people finish, I'm going to be wasting your time. So you can go do it whatever you want. That's how I ended up in the cafeteria when they were doing those the MTV thing. That's how I ended up even doing it. I finished.
We got to find that footage.
I had so I'm friends with one
We
of
have
the
got to
girls.
find that footage.
Well, yeah, because Hannah's gonna murder me if I don't. One of the girls that was on the show with me. I'm friends with her on Facebook, and she has a copy of it. And I just have to. I'll see if I can reach out to
Patty
her tomorrow.
was out of
That's not
beard.
on you searched
It's
it
not.
on YouTube.
Yeah. So when
It's not on YouTube or
no, like
Prime.
when It was they aired the pilot, which is the only episode that I would have been in. Of course, it was not on Prime, dude. This was like back in like 2007.
But they have stuff on Prime.
Yeah, but it was the series itself was while they aired the pilot, it was not picked up for a full season. Granted, I would have only been in the pilot. I wouldn't have been in any.
Yeah,
because
they pick different.
It's like the A-Team, but we're helping.
It's a reality show.
Oh no, dude, it was absolute bullshit. It was not reality. but yeah, no, I'll see if I can like reach out to her because she has the DVD. She just has to. I think she said her husband would like convert it and then she could email it to me. She's just. I think she's on like her second kid.
Well, if we find that, we'll have a special viewing on the show.
Yeah,
and we'll show that during the show.
It's yeah. I mean, there's one on like
the rare and elusive beardless Alex.
Oh no! The best part is you'll see Patty with hair.
Yeah.
yeah, like the back when I had like my hair like down to my eyebrows.
Oh yeah, you
and it
had a
was out.
mop,
Oh,
dude. You had a mop.
No, it's
You
not.
had bangs and
But
everything.
we're working on it, okay? Talk to me in like 5 months. We'll see where it's at.
5 months.
It's-
How long does it take to burn?
it's gonna be all on your
DVD?
back.
So it says for 3 weeks is for, and you got to keep it like consistent, which is what I'm doing. You got to do it around the same time. I take one pill every morning, and I put this shit in my hair, AM and PM, and it says.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Oh, your hair.
Yeah, no, my hair.
Okay, Patty, I can just go ahead and tell you that none of us give a shit about your hair, man.
Patty, do you use those hats that have those red emitters, those red light emitters? They're supposed to grow your hair.
We don't care about your
No,
hair. dude.
I got like they had me do like some doctor
Is he still
thing, and
talking?
they-
Because I can't
Still
hear
talking
him.
about his hair.
I can't hear him over the sound of my mullet.
Yeah, I know. Power
mean,
mullet.
And speaking of which, why isn't the state allowing hair salons and barber shops to
Because you
reopen?
can't be 6 feet away from the
But
person.
the whole point is that they have to be certified anyways, and there has to be a sterile environment in the first place. And if you have
Yikes.
people with dirty, matty, disgusting hair, wouldn't a good haircut be something
I need
that?
one. I haven't had a haircut since my 20s.
Leland, most people have
'Cause it's falling
and
out?
washed hair. They don't just let it get all greasy and disgusting like you and Davis.
I literally washed mine at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Well, that's
Last Thursday.
Last
No, today.
I'm just messing with you, Leland.
I mean, as far like as Davis says, as far as mullets go, and I know Davis has met my dad. Like, my dad rocks a pretty good mullet. I think I could do that too.
You'd
Yeah,
be a
skullet.
skullet.
It'd be a skullet.
You'll be like Hulk Hogan.
He's got it like down to here.
Well,
but,
you
like,
know,
right
that's
here,
what
there's nothing
producers
going
look
on.
like. They're bald and they got a ponytail, so that could
I don't want a
probably
ponytail.
work.
That sounds gay.
I mean, you're wearing a
dumb.
I mean,
Paul Heyman.
You're wearing a pink AT&T hat right now, so I don't. That's not too far off the.
What's wrong with pink, man?
Yeah, what the hell? That's
What's wrong
pink
with
is
pink?
awesome. Some of my favorite.
You got something wrong with pink?
Yeah,
You got something wrong with wearing pink?
terrible.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous on a
Ridiculously
guy with a receding
awesome.
hairline.
You know what?
You know what? I'm gonna get purple pit
I
vipers.
mean, there's some.
You
gu-
can tell that to the guy
There's
with a
some
mullet.
guys that can rock pink. Patty's not one of them. That's
Hey,
what I'm
you
trying
know
to
what?
say.
Like,
I rock the pink a lot,
Yeah, I
especially
know
with
you
this
do.
haircut.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
Like the former CEO of T-Mobile. Of course, he would say it's Team Magenta.
That's my hair. Yeah. So
Looks
yeah.
like a helmet.
Yeah, so just so you know, like one of my friends, Davis, gave me this hat, so you can suck it. Davis didn't give you any hats. This hat's
I
older
don't have
than
a
I
big.
am.
I don't have a gaping bald spot to cover. So. Okay, man. Holy cow.
Jesus, Leland.
You got that,
I mean, you already suffer enough as it is as a Michigan
You look
fan,
like
so
a
I doubt
girl.
God's gonna make you have a bad haircut.
You look like a girl.
What,
No,
that picture?
worse,
What
a
bottle?
Lions
What
fan.
bottle are you hugging on that?
That picture is actually the first night that I ever got like completely like smashed. Me and my nephew killed a bottle of Jose Cuervo, and then we passed out in their neighbor's kids' clubhouse.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then of course my dad being my dad, because my mom didn't go up to Ohio with us, so we stagger back to my sister's house, like hung over to high hell. And my dad's like, "How's it going? How you feeling?" I'm like, I feel like crap." He's like, "Well, we're gonna be doing some day drinking today, so it's time to start early." And he just gets like two tall boy bush.
Are we in another one
bushes.
of Patty's stories?
And
Yep. This is
How
what
do
happens.
we fell into another one of his stories. That
Oh,
quick,
so when
man.
y'all tell stories, it's okay. But
My
God
stories
forbid,
are short, quick, and
Patty
to the
would-
point.
Yeah,
Because we know how to structure a story without it being like
meandering and long.
Like,
All right, fine. So I got some stuff to work on. You guys are assholes.
You know, like that one part of like "Don't Stop Believing," where it just goes on and on and on and on.
Is it the "Don't Stop Believing" part that's at the very end of the
Please
song?
get to the point.
Yeah.
I gotta find that.
I mean, I don't think
that
that song's a good reference because it's like 5 minutes before you get to the "Don't
Yeah, the
Stop
part where they
Believing"
literally
part.
say it goes on and on and on.
Goes on and on.
So, Mad Mike and I had an adventure,
That was pretty cool.
and I have to give him a shout out because that is probably the coolest place I've ever been.
Oh my god.
Austin Wrench Apart. Austin Wrench Apart down in South Austin off of Highway 71 on the way to Del Valley.
Yeah, that place is badass, right?
Mad Mike and I went down there because he needed a back bumper to a 1996 Ford Explorer.
No, you forgot out Panty Explorer.
Panty Explorer.
Yes, correct.
Show the picture. Did you hold it up?
What? Oh yeah.
Whatever you guys were laughing at. I want to see
Oh
it.
no, it was. Yeah. Anyway.
We were having like an Alex Patrick moment, so you can just like. Mark
Oh no, I saw it and I
okay.
thought it was fucking hilarious.
know,
Like,
wasn't
dude,
it?
What the fuck was that? What
It
were
was-
you wearing?
The blue thing. It was a. It was.
Oh,
when
is
I
that the
didn't-
one with when he was wearing a dress?
No, is it when you were
No,
doing
it wa-
cycling?
It was when I didn't have a car and I would have to
yeah,
ride my
there you
bike
go.
40 miles a day to get to and from work. So it was a bike jacket that you'd zip up. And it had like spots in the back where you could put water because I didn't have a car. I had to ride. It was like 20 miles to work and 20 miles home.
So you were a biker.
Well, I mean,
Wrench Apart.
I used a bike to get to work.
It's a little sad.
So anyway, so we're up at Austin Wrench Apart, and I had to get parts for both my 2014 Town and Country, and I had to get a cross beam for the 2006 Town and Country, so I could put that together for my lovely daughter, so she has a way to get around. And we went to Austin Wrench
I would
Apart,
use a bike.
and first of all, they are family owned, and they're fantastic. They went and. The first thing they did is they greeted us at the door, and it's like, hey, if you got Facebook, like us on Facebook. We'll let you in here. We'll waive the fee to get in. So we did that, and we went out, and it took us. How long were we there, Mike? Do you think to pull the parts? Maybe less than an hour.
30 minutes.
Yeah, less than an hour. We found the parts we needed, yanked them off the cars, and walked out. And I paid $600. $60, like $600 worth of parts. Hey, I gotta see these pictures, man. You can't be go over there laughing and having an inside joke.
It is a little sad to go. It is a little sad to see the car graveyard at Wrench Apart, knowing that these cars are never going to drive again, and each one of them has an interesting story, especially the older cars.
Okay, I didn't give a shit about the story. What I did give a shit about, though,
American Pickers, okay? This is I need shit to keep my piece of shit going.
and what was cool is the part we needed was already taken apart.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty much just taking off the four restraining nuts and pulling it off, and we were done.
I'm half tempted to go back to that Explorer and like pull shit because it's all the same color and trim as mine was.
Yeah, and I got a review mirror from other one.
Yeah.
Same freaking color.
The only thing that like, you know, what does suck though is like it's like literally like sifting through because you'll find like vehicles that are in there like, oh man, there's a lot of cool salvageable stuff in here, and then other times you're like, this shit should have just went straight to Crusher.
Yeah.
Like this is bad. There's not like one straight like part on there, but like
Yeah.
people can still like
Yeah,
like shit.
so get stuff out. I saw people walking out of their dashboards,
Yeah.
radios.
I got lucky enough, like that bumper I pulled was about a $200 bumper if I had to order it online. It was like $40.
Maybe.
And I had to walk through like the sweltering heat, like if I was crossing the Sahara Desert from the very
Yeah, it got
back
hot. It
corner.
got hot there quick, man.
It was like a gajillion degrees, and that truck was in like kind of the far back corner. I had to walk with that son of a bitch on my shoulder all the way to the front, and I was like, "This sucks."
Yeah, you know
is not
you know
very
it's bad when the tools get hot.
Yeah, I should have grabbed a cart. And I was like, damn it. Yeah, no, that place is pretty cool. Budget, like, because they got, because it's owned by the Snyder family, which owns Snyder's Parts over kind of like north of Taylor. I forget,
Yeah.
like out by Granger. Then they have the Budget Wrench Apart up in Belton, which is like even bigger than the one in like Del Valley.
Wow.
So like,
Because it was big.
yeah, like it's big. There's like a shit ton. I'm like, I'm always over there, like, because unfortunately, because I drive a piece of shit, I spend a lot of money at these places, and I know they always have like.
And you back into things.
Yeah, allegedly. That was Patty's fault.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't.
Oh, just like he's like, I didn't break your passenger window, Patty.
Yeah, it was funny.
Okay, I'll own up to that. I did do that.
I didn't go and take your truck to Whataburger, eat your Whataburger on the way back, and also manage to scrape on like those concrete posts and put yellow paint on the side of your truck. That wasn't me, Patty.
Yeah, it was. So we took Mike's truck to AutoZone the other day, and I lived. And on the way to AutoZone, he went around the interior of his truck and went, that's Patty, that's Alex, that's Gaskin. That's Patty again.
I hold the record probably.
Oh no! The worst is the fact that I had to enable child locks because this guy and our other friend were like, "Do you know what sounds fun? Opening your truck doors to hit garbage cans," which is totally
That's awesome.
acceptable. Except it's not. So I enabled the child locks, and I was like, I'm breaking these bitches off, turning this thing into a van.
Alex, it sounds like you owe Mike a set of 4 doors from Wrench Apart.
Nah.
No.
I don't owe this dude shit.
Those steel doors are a lot tougher than those trash cans because like some of these things were getting belted like 10, 15 foot.
Wow. How fast were you going?
Like, don't worry about it.
You know what? When we say, hey, don't drive so fast through the neighborhood, and you're like, fuck it, I'll do what I want. We take matters into our own hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, it kind of makes me mad. All right. This is a good segue into this point. Why don't garbage men put trash cans back against the curb or pick them up when they fall down?
Yeah.
There's just one street in Austin where like the garbage truck would come through and it would like literally, it was already a tight street, but it would turn the entire fucking street into a 1-lane road.
Yeah, like a garbage
with all
can.
the garbage cans.
Yeah,
With all the
garbage
garbage
can
cans.
maze.
I've noticed that too when I'm going picking people up.
I'm like, yo, what
in
the
Austin.
hell, dude? And like I've seen dudes just like put the trash can back down, and it falls over, and then they like look, and then they keep driving.
Yeah,
like,
they'll throw it up
get
on the
paid
curb or something.
$18 an hour, dude. Just like,
We should follow some.
No, more than that. They get paid. They start out at 18.
yeah. I'm just saying, don't be a piece of shit. You know, I know you got a route to stick to and stuff like that. Never trash can.
And now they got
but don't
things
go
that-
just go like throwing it.
And
into
now they have things on the truck that actually dump the trash.
That's
All you
what-
have to do is slide it over there.
and that's what I'm
You
saying.
don't even have to
like-
lift anything
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that like they just like they use the arm to like toss that son of a bitch back into the top of the dumpster, and then they yeet that son of a bitch back on the ground.
Okay, am I
And,
the
like, people
only?
like have like busted trash cans and stuff like. Where I can't really talk because I used to open up a Explorer door into the. Wow, that is incredibly rude. But yeah, no, I just noticed that the other day. I was like, man, this kind of shitty. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Whoa,
What's up, Chuck?
that's psychedelic.
Just listening.
Do you have any trash can stories? We're about ready to wrap this up
No trash cans.
because I feel like Radar looks.
Shouldn't we?
need to
since it's
scram,
Star
right?
Wars Day. Shouldn't we all say what our favorite Star Wars movie is?
It is May the 4th.
May the
May the
4th
4th be with you.
The
That's
final
right.
episode of Clone Wars dropped today, and it was awesome.
Was it?
May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you.
What?
I don't know, man. It was cool when like people were, less people were into Star Wars, and now they're like, "Oh, may the 4th be with you." Like, no, fuck off.
Exactly.
Oh, so they were part of the original crew.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd have to be, 9, 10 years old, 1977, paying $2.50 a ticket, waiting in line to go into Gaslight Theater in Petoskey, Michigan, seeing the movie 4 times and not knowing what characters' names were because you were so enamored with it, and then getting a Christmas present where you get all the models and stuff like that to be truly old school.
And
Or
if you
to
left
have
them
to
in the
sit
packaging,
through
they'd be
the
worth a lot of
prequels as
money.
a kid and be tormented with that memory.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but
Yeah.
it had to be done.
Well, That was probably like the worst choices that you made as a parent.
Yeah, pretty much. No, well, I think it's
I would
more.
say
I don't think it's a bad choice. I think it was more character building.
I would say that
because
the Phantom
because you did
Menace-
see the first 3,
I did.
and I bought the box set,
You did.
and I got you the toy. Gave you my toys that I had, that Grandma had,
I lost
which ended up.
in the yard.
Which the C3PO right now would probably go for a couple of grand because it has a 1977 stamp on it. It was first round issued toys. But anyway, don't care.
Good job, Patty.
That's another. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
can't blame
but we
me
didn't
for
know.
that.
But we didn't know that.
Yeah.
It was a toy. To me, it was a toy. So
it's
I
already out of the
I
box,
did
so-
start bringing you up right, but then when we went to the first movie and it was such garbage, and the second movie, I think I took you and your sister, and I made it halfway through that movie, and then left you 2, and then the third one, I think
I don't even think I went and saw the third one.
I don't think. Well, I think you're right. I think we didn't go to the theater. We waited for it to come out on
Revenge of the Sith.
whatever episode 3 was.
I
That
remember.
was awful.
Yeah,
Those
me and my
were
mom.
It was
bad.
horrible. All 3 of them were bad.
Oh, dude, even my mom, like, we left Attack of the Clones and we're walking out. My mom was just like, this was shit. The original trilogy was better. And I was like, Mom, you can't say shit. And she, like, hit me over the head. She's like, stop cussing.
And that's why he's bald.
The true.
Starship Troopers had better production quality.
Yeah.
Facts.
Than it did.
It had better acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't even try to act.
Johnny Rico. I mean, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's mainly
Rico's
just because they
Roughnecks, baby.
used. It's because they used George Lucas used nothing but CGI in that. That's why
The whole
Rogue
thing.
One was so much fucking better because they used practical effects. Rogue One's the. I remember. I went and saw that
I
shit
think-
opening day.
I think they should. I think what they should do is put the 3 originals back to as close to original condition without all that bullshit CGI. I think they should shit can the first 3 or the prequels. And I think they should take Rogue One as the standard to live up to in storytelling, acting, action, everything.
Okay.
And say, okay, we're going to redo the prequels.
And the Mandalorian.
Okay, wait. Can I add
And
something?
we're not going to fuck it up this time with some stupid, character that no one's going to like that we made up just to sell toys.
Okay.
Jar Jar.
But with that being said, I still think Natalie Portman and what's her face, the other Natalie Portman chick who looks like Natalie Portman.
Keira Knightley.
Yeah, that one. Sure. Natalie.
Portman and the British Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whatever. They should both be in those movies again,
Yeah.
and that's it. Yeah, because they
I
weren't
can.
bad. But like the rest of that
see,
was like.
see, here's the thing,
Oh,
though.
and Obi-Wan
Here's the
was pretty
thing.
cool. Yeah. Ewan McGregor was pretty cool.
It wasn't that the movie had bad actors in it. The movie had
writing
great
was
actors. The writing and the directing was atrocious,
Yeah. And on top of that,
and it was unwatchable. I didn't even. I just recently, when I got Disney Plus, I muscled my way through every single Star Wars in order just because I was bored.
and I request one more thing too. I want like Star Wars Mark Wahlberg. Space Boston sounds like super
Space
kick-ass.
Boston.
Like Wicked had. Space Boston.
Go to
New
Space
Boston.
Alderaan. Oh wait.
New Boston
Detroit.
on the moon.
Yeah, that'd be.
You got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Space
good.
Boston. Like either that
yeah.
or just have like one Star Wars that's just like fuck all, funny, cool, stupid. Yeah, make that shit
You can
happen.
be a space detective.
That was called Spaceballs.
Make it in the
Yeah,
Star
but
Wars universe.
make it better. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll have to say, Rogue One, writing, direction.
Yes.
I mean, Solo was horrible.
Solo. Was,
Solo was surprisingly not bad.
Solo
considering-
was a TV show, not a movie.
yeah,
Same
but it
thing
was.
with-
You could have just shown that on TBS on a Saturday night special movie and been fine with it.
Same
Yeah.
thing with 7, 8, and 9. They felt like TV shows.
Yeah, but see, Solo was cool because they threw Darth Maul. They threw Darth Maul back in there, and a lot of people were like, "Wait, why is he in here?" And then you're just like, "Wow, you've never seen anything outside of the original movies. Go die."
So, have you seen the last one?
Recently,
Yeah, it's
Rise of Skywalker.
Is it worth the $5 on Prime?
just watch it. It just dude. It just dropped on.
It retcons
Just
everything.
watch it
It's on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it dropped today,
Oh, okay. Well,
and
I'll
it's
do
all
that
and
then.
it's fucking awful.
Because I got Disney Plus because I'm a Marvel fan.
it retcons everything.
It's
That's
it's okay. The one thing like I didn't get is like why the hell does like because they use like blasters and stuff that don't take bullets. So why the hell does Poe have like a fucking bandolier across? Like, what is he gonna use that thing for? He's not gonna put anything in it.
Same thing Chewbacca used his for.
Yeah, you have to reload.
Aesthetics.
Well, you still have to reload like the charge on those
energy
blasters.
rifles, right?
That's like literally part of the thing. That's a
but,
battery.
like, why?
He's like, what happens with my Xbox
And I
controller
think- I
when it
think
runs
there's
out
a
of
scene
batteries? What do I do? Put in more batteries.
Yeah.
I know what Patty does with an Xbox controller. He takes it away from the TV set, reprograms it, and then leaves it over here and doesn't tell anybody. That's what Patty does.
Yeah. That was a very Mike Allen thing of you to do.
I think there was a scene in.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I'll take that. I'll own that.
He's over here at the beginning
Yeah.
of the show, like bitching about the knobs and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, yeah, somebody else messed with your stuff.
Okay, Gen X.
You know, okay, boomer.
I'm too old for Boomer.
Find those Nikes. Where they at?
He's like, you guys got to tell me when you mess with my stuff.
No,
Like,
you're
the
right.
only
You're right in the
person."
middle of being a boomer.
I was
actually.
over there twisting your own knobs.
No, the only good thing about the last Star Wars, and or I should say, the only not bad thing is Lando's in it, but he's not in it enough, and that's it. That's it. It's horrible. It retcons everything. It doesn't make any damn sense.
And what?
Retcons.
Okay, you're gonna have to use words that everybody understands.
Okay, it basically says what happened in the previous films. I'll just forget that. Just the Emperor. He comes back. He wasn't killed at the end of Jedi. It's just he's there. And it's like, how did you get here? It's like, oh, I'm here because I have made myself here. It didn't say why he was here or what he was.
So terrible writing.
Oh, it's horrible writing. Chuck, do you want me to give you the spoilers or no?
I mean, you're already going to watch it. Who gives a shit?
I'm already gonna watch it.
Okay, so at the end, the Emperor goes like, you're my granddaughter. You will kill me and I will live on through you and you will be evil. And then she ends up killing him anyways, but he doesn't live on through her. And she's supposed to be good as the granddaughter of Palpatine. And you're going like, when did Palpatine have sex? Why all the
Before he became
Skywalkers are
Emperor
dead.
Palpatine, dude. He was
All the
straight
Skywalkers
slaying
are dead.
He was married, dude.
He was.
Man.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. What is he gonna do? Live on Naboo and not like go to the Bone Zone, home of?
Yeah, he was a human. He had
He was a
penis.
human who lived
I
on
mean-
Naboo and was like, "Yo, I'm in politics. I'm gonna go and crush some
He was
like,
on Coruscant,
Naboon,
not Naboo.
right?"
Yeah, he's on Coruscant.
Okay, so remember where he was a senator originally from?
No, that's Natalie Portman's character.
Yeah, no, he was also from Naboo too, bro.
Was he?
Yeah.
No, okay, well, fuck
Yeah.
me then. No,
Dumbass.
see, the original. Yeah. See, the
Yeah.
original Return of the Jedi was
He was
great
the
because you
senator
had
from there,
alien titties in Return of the Jedi.
Okay, anyway, that's not what we're talking about.
I'm just saying, alien titties.
The fact of the matter is, yeah, he totally could have had like a family and stuff, and like he's from like a planet. Like,
I'll have to rewatch it, but like, I mean, if they have like Force ghosts and shit like that, like it would make sense that possibly if you could shoot lightning from your fucking fingertips, that like being thrown down a shaft. And you're a total like kick-ass space wizard. Being thrown down
Yeah.
a shaft isn't going to do shit to you.
You were
except,
thrown
like,
down a
focus all
shaft.
your hate into becoming something like
Yeah.
a greater being. And
Exactly.
Then being able to like
He could have encompassed himself in the Force.
exactly.
I mean, yeah, they really.
and
I mean, yeah, if
survived.
you ever like played like the Force Unleashed and anything like that, they really like dive into like how much
Yeah, or like
you can use the Force. Like Darth Vader brought down a whole fucking Star Destroyer and just like threw it into the earth. Like I mean, they really get into
Yeah.
this whole space wizardry shit. And yeah, no, I mean, I could see it. I thought that was cool. I didn't know that was coming up. I was like, holy shit, that's from Palpatine.
Yeah.
Like,
on top of that, he was the Senate.
yeah.
I am the Senate.
yeah, I guess.
But yeah, no, like, when it comes down to Palpatine, you have to think he was thrown down a giant shaft, right?
Shaft.
And like, yeah,
Nuclear.
lightning. But like, if you remember previously, canonically, he straight up killed Shaft. So like, mic drop. Okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He killed the Shaft.
I want to tell you.
By the
I
Shaft.
want to tell you one of the defining moments in the second film when
Are you talking about
Clones or Empire?
OG trilogy?
No, the one of the prequels.
Oh,
when
Clones.
when Sam Jackson came out and turned his saber on, it was purple. I lost it.
Saber?
I was like, that.
You know that he.
Come on, man.
Well, no, you know that Sam Jackson told them that's the color that he wanted.
Oh, I know, but still,
but it
but
went above
still.
and beyond that. He actually, when they custom made the saber handle, it says "bad motherfucker" on it.
Does it really?
It really does. Yeah.
Damn.
Like the wallet he had in Pulp Fiction, his lightsaber somewhere on there it says "bad motherfucker."
What's in
Nice.
your wallet?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty freaking cool.
Nice. Yeah, Sam Jackson's class act, man.
And,
Plus,
and,
he's
the, and, the,
still
sa-
alive.
and the sad thing is, they filmed scenes with him.
What ruined it. The bad writing and then the CGI is what ruined
Yeah.
it. You know,
It was horrible
it's
writing.
Like you had
Horrible
all this
writing.
money. You had, you probably spent a shit ton of money on paying people to make that CGI, and it's like, well, we spent a lot of money, so it's good. No,
And no one can
they
interact
should
with
have went
it
with
'cause it's
practical
CGI.
effects like
Yeah.
they did. They should have went with practical stages. I mean, it was like a really good story. Not good story, but it was a really good setup to be a really good story. Like the Clone Wars, if you watch the series or anything like that, like all the behind the scenes of the prequels, those are better than. It's still CGI and everything like that, but it's a little bit.
Well, Clone Wars is an animated show,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you expect that.
Yeah, and
You
it's just
know?
like if they had gone with the amount of grittiness and acting that they had and directing that they had gone with in the animated series, in the prequels, it would have been a whole lot better.
Oh, yeah.
I want to find out more about Clone Troopers just
Well-
slaying it. On
Well, one of the
different
things,
planets.
one of the things that
Space
set
Vietnam.
Not only did the special effects set the original first Star Wars movie apart from any other movie of its era, was every science fiction movie that, Space Odyssey, 2001: A Space Odyssey, all those movies, everything was clean, and it was very sterile. And when you're in space, the spaceships were all clean. And then you hear Star Wars comes along, and the first time you see the Millennium Falcon, I gotta be honest with you, when I was watching it in the movie theater at 10 years old, I didn't even know that was a spaceship because nothing in it made it more real because there was dirt and grime and trash and damage to stuff.
And the other thing that they did.
And even though the actors at the time outside of Harrison Ford, who was a nobody, none of the actors, and that's what he wanted. His movie was American Graffiti. That was his movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's very good. It's awesome. That was the movie that was going to be his big shining. And Star Wars was a side project, almost an indie film. And all the things that they were doing in Star Wars were bare bones budget. Budget. So and he just gathered around all these guys, and it's like, well, we have to make a phaser, but everything up to that was Star Trek. You hit it and it's like a. They didn't want that, so
It was like a Western in space.
So the original blaster sound effects, which now are computer generated, but back then, all the guy did was outside the studio, he walked out with a breaker bar, like a 1/4-inch metal breaker bar, and a recorder, and he hit the steel cables that held up the post. That was the blaster that we heard in the original Star Wars.
Wow.
The other thing, too, that they did in Star Wars that you didn't see in sci-fi up until that point was everything up to that point, everything moved really slow in space. And Star Wars, everything moved fast. It literally felt like a Western in space in many regards.
Yeah, and the dogfights, no one had dogfights like
No.
that.
And
That
these-
was like a submarine movie. Star Trek was a submarine movie, really.
Yeah.
The ships, they had torpedoes, they had, you know what I'm saying?
They went fast down the channel of the Death Star.
All that, even Lost in Space, and it was a submarine in space.
Yeah, when you see the vehicle, they're just going like.
Now you have
really,
these
really
X-wing
slow.
fighters. It's like blew my freaking mind, dude.
Tanking and everything.
And now I will tell you this though, I like the X-wing play in the second to the last Star Wars,
Oh, where he was able to break.
where Han Solo dies. where they come down on the water and they're flying. I did like that sequence. That was a good sequence.
That was
And
fan
I like
service,
how
yeah.
the X-wings evolved into what they are in the later movies.
Yeah, they're pretty. I mean,
They're already badass fighter, but
Yeah, I mean,
aesthetically, the sequels and stuff like that to the original series, like 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those aesthetically, they're cool to watch.
Oh, yeah.
like it's that
well,
gritty.
they got gritty again.
It's
crunchy.
and
and
it's just like
it wasn't geared for kids either, because that was like the prequels were like straight up geared for like little kids, and I was like, oh man, this will be like the original. I was like, what the hell, man? I got
they had
gypped.
those little fluff balls and they had the BB-18, but like like not everything in the entire like universe is just like gritty,
Cutie,
and,
Happy go lucky,
everything,
other
like,
than
this
like
little- yeah.
what's his face saying like I hate you,
Well, I
and
mean,
got all like sunburned and like
when
dipped
they
in
were
lava.
when they were in the Capitol and they had lighted billboards and
Coruscant, yeah.
Coruscant?
I mean, yeah, I'm like, come on.
which
talking
wasn't
about
blown,
in
which
the
wasn't blown
Clone
up by
Wars?
the
Whatever movie that was in where they were,
2 and 3. Actually, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a Blade Runner kind of thing.
yeah, that's exactly.
And
what
no, it
reminded me. I
wasn't-
was trying
it
to think what it reminded me
But even
of.
Blade Runner was cool as shit. Like,
Yeah,
it should've
Badass
been that
fireballs.
It should have been greedy, like Total Recall, like Blade Runner, or The Fifth Element. Like I know
Oh, yeah,
it should have
Fifth
been.
Element.
Yeah. You're
Or
definitely
even
right. It
was
clean
it
and stupid, and there
Judge
wasn't
Dredd?
blast marks and shit
Dude,
like
yeah.
that.
All I could think of is like now is especially like bringing up the Fifth Element was like I was so tempted to go print up like a whole bunch of like on like cardstock little pictures of this at Multipass and just handing them out to people. Multipass?
Multipass.
That would have been awesome for like quarantine. Be like Multipass, but now like we don't have to anymore. Dude, it would have been hilarious.
Now when I start the Star Wars like segment, and like not segment, but when I start the movies, I would start with Rogue One. Like I don't even go. I don't care. I mean,
Well-
like Anakin, like you had said, like Anakin Skywalker building C-3PO. Like, come on, why did that even need to be in there?
Yeah. And they made
that's the writing. Why
they
do you
made-
have to explain everything?
And they made
Let
Vader a
things-
badass in
You know what I'm
Rogue
saying?
One.
But here's what lost me. One, Darth Vader, the easiestly. That's not even a word.
Easily.
Easily
Got all worked
the
up.
most evil movie character ever devised. And when he was movie, not real life, dumbass.
And that would be
when-
Stalin in real life.
Not with that attitude.
Stop.
And then when he was a kid, his nickname was Annie.
Little Annie.
Come
You
on.
have some like dumbass.
And he was
retard
technically like an
fucking
orphan, so
fish
it'd be little
person.
Yeah,
Orphan Annie?
he's a little orphan Annie. Literally
Little
a
Orphan Annie.
Oh, man,
You don't have
that's
to yell so loud.
Well, no, his mom was in it.
His mom was killed by sand people.
And then his uncles were.
Damn it, Uncle Ben, you can't just call them sand people anymore. They're Tusken Raiders.
I tell you what, the Family Guy Star Wars is
It's better than the
probably
prequels.
probably the best.
I like the robot chicken.
And the robot
spruce
chicken.
better.
Yeah. Golly.
Have you seen The Mandalorian yet?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Oh, dude, The Mandalorian sucks. The only good part is when the scout troopers were on their scout bikes and they were like fucking off in the desert. Like that was the only funny, and they kept missing. That was like the only.
And then they're like, eh.
I like how
Because the whole battle sequence in the village where they have like the raiders come out and they're like, oh, what do we do? Oh, we have to fight them with sticks and all this other shit. Like that was the worst. I mean, I'm not like a tactician or anything like that, but like
I watched
you have
it-
this budget. You should have killed some of those
Yeah.
villagers.
I watched it.
Sorry, but you have an ATST.
Yeah.
You should have like really went to town on some motherfuckers. Instead, like he can't cross a ditch. You have this like probably
See-
$1 billion piece of equipment that can't walk across a ditch.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have to remember it walks like a chicken.
And it walks, and it walks
It's
like
a chicken
like
walker.
It acts like a sentient being. Like no.
Well, no, that's because like
That kinda
that's-
lost me
It got
there.
nicknamed that because like they would also like follow.
But when he
it.
was like crouching down and like bending down and stuff like that, like I was in that cockpit because they
Yeah.
don't have seatbelts. You've seen the inside of those cockpits. They don't have like 5-point seatbelts or anything like that. So that dude was just fucking around in there and falling apart. And then the worst part is when they went into the Raider camp, we'll call it the Raider camp, the first time they realized they had ATST, they could have just blew that shit up there. Why did they have to
preemptive strike, dog?
Yeah, why did they have to?
George
It just
W.
didn't make any
Bush.
sense to me. The whole village scene that killed. I didn't even watch the rest.
Well,
of it
here's
for like 3 weeks, and I was like, I should finish this.
When I flipped the switch in my head, and because the whole thing I was thinking of was Boba Fett, and apparently Boba Fett is a Mandalorian.
Yeah, you don't know that? Like,
Well,
they're from a
I
planet
know,
called
I get it,
Mandalore.
I get it. But then when they went through the whole development of the Mandalorian cult or whatever it is, where they don't take their helmets off and culture, that's where it kind of, to me, when I think of the Boba Fett character,
okay,
I couldn't. As soon as I suspended that, I enjoyed it a little bit more. But you're right, there's some holes in plots that are glaring.
Well, not all of them.
But some of the banter's
keep
good.
their
Some of the
helmet on.
actors good.
It's good. It had really.
And the fact that
it's not gonna be perfect 100%. I get that, but
and the fact that the Mandalorian is what's his name from Game of Thrones.
yeah, I remember. Yeah, the guy that gets his eyeballs smashed into
Gets
his
his
face.
skull smashed. Yeah.
No, like with the Mandalorian, like it goes into like if you watch the Clone Wars, like I've already told you, make sure to watch the Clone Wars because it's
'Cause they're
super fucking
good.
important. They actually have like a whole series arc about like Mandalore and the Mandalorians and Dark Watch and Death Watch, who were like these rogue separatists, and Mandalorian became peaceful, but before that they were like bounty hunters and murderers and like pillagers and did,
Well, it's
like,
kind of
really
cool
fucked
that you
up
earn.
shit.
Yeah,
and then
you
Darth
earn
Maul
your
takes
medal.
over.
You earn your
Yeah,
thing.
and then
That
they
was
were
kind of
like-
cool.
Then they were like, "Nah, we're not doing that anymore. We're gonna be peaceful." Then they were like, "Psych, overthrowing your government, staged revolution, bitches be dying." And then they were like, "Well, we just got crushed by the Empire, so now we're gonna go back to being previous Mandalorians who were like mercenaries for hire and just murdered people indiscriminately." And this
bounty.
one dude like kind of goes all like soft and like rescues like.
I mean, I got into
You
it.
know,
I
whatever.
watched it. I mean, there's-
When does it
and
take
the
place?
fact that
When does it take place in
It
the Star
takes
Wars?
place like after Return, like I think like 20 years after, or 10 years, or 8 years after Return of the Jedi.
So between the two prequels.
It's before the
the two-
Force Awakens. It's like 30 years before the Force Awakens or some shit.
yeah, I mean, it was enjoyable.
I mean, they did a good job. I mean, it was gritty. They had.
It was John
Had some good.
Favreau.
Yes,
I mean,
John Favreau.
It was fun. It was just like the village.
Happy.
scene. The Raiders came in. They like tossed a couple baskets of like shrimp, and then like left. And they're like, "Oh, you have to protect us." I was like, "What the hell was that?" Plus, and they're all also like half a mile away.
Yeah.
It's Team Marvel
It
that
was
made
just-
this
it was
one
just a
not.
it must have been expensive having that many people. I mean, I get it or whatever. It's just like the whole ATST being held up by the ditch, and then the Mandalorian was like right next to the ditch.
That wasn't really-
shooting the blasters, and like it wasn't blasting away the edge of the. I don't know. I was just watching.
I wasn't
like,
buying into the Yoda thing either.
the hell is
Really,
this?
they could have
It's
done
not
without the Yoda
It's
thing.
not
but-
Yoda.
Anyway,
Done it. It's just like the hype around it too is really kind of
yeah,
annoying.
the Yoda thing. You lost me at the
The
Yoda
baby,
thing.
the baby Yoda.
It's
Oh,
not-
man, good show, guys.
Oh yeah, we're about to.
We blew through 2 hours.
We're not gonna
look
go.
down.
We're not
around.
going to say what we learned in the
Oh,
show.
okay, yeah. What have we learned today? We'll start with Leland. What have you learned?
Well, I've learned if I'm going into that porta-john that Mad Mike went in today, I'm gonna have a saw or a Leatherman or some way to cut myself out of it.
Mike.
No, you do not want to try with that porta potty. Exerting too much force and you will roll down a hill.
Patty.
The final episode for Clone Wars was pretty fucking badass. Have you seen it yet, Davis?
No, I've been busy.
It dropped. They dropped the final episode today, and it's. Fuck.
And that's on Disney
Yeah.
Plus, right?
I mean, we could watch it after this. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I would have to watch the rest of that, and unfortunately, I'm watching how it's made right now. So
How what's made?
And I'm gonna go watch. I'm gonna go watch the inside of my eyeballs. Alex, what did you learn?
Learned that we have some production kind of stuff that we have to do after the end of the end of the show
Produkin?
here and talk about some etiquette. Whereas you let us do our job,
Like-
we want to help
like-
you do
like-
your job,
Like holding the mic right,
and just like
talk, and
not.
go ahead. Back and forth. Chuck, what'd you learn?
That you guys are willing to drink anything that's green, which is scary. And next week's show, On Deck Circle premiere, and the language is going to be a lot cleaner than what you had today.
Yep. The On Deck Circle at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time.
7:45.
8. You only have a 15-minute show?
No, 7:45 we're starting.
Oh, 7:45.
Because we got to be out by 8:55 so your producer can get ready and launch your show on time.
Got it.
We need a buffer.
7:45 Central Standard Time next week, the On Deck Circle with Chuck Licata, Danger Davis, and the Sky Marshal Leland Freeman. Well, we had a good time.
Promises to shave.
Huh?
He promises to shave by next week too.
Leland?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yep.
We'll see about that.
I bought some shears. You want to do it live right now?
No, we're shutting her down. Thanks for the radar cam. Chuck, see you next week, buddy.
See you next week, bud. See ya.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for stopping by. For those of you who did stop by, we're here every Monday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you have any movie shorts or skits that you'd like to have premiered, submit them. MikeAllenSports@gmail.com. We'll see if we can use them live on the show. So next week, the On Deck Circle starts 7:45 Central Standard Time. We'll be back 9 p.m. Central Standard as we are every Monday night. For the player to be named later, Danger Davis, Mad Mike, and the Sky Marshal, Leland Freeman with Chuck Licata. I'm Mike Allen. This has been the Radio Man Cave, and you have been on the air. See you next week.
Great job, team. Head back to base for debriefing and cocktails.